As a part-time signing agent, someone who works less than 30 hours a week, how much money did you make last month?
I made $6,000 last month.
$6,000 working only 30 hours. You know, that's a $72,000 a year part-time business. If you want to hear how a part-time signing agent makes over $70,000 a year, you're going to want to watch this video. Hi there, my name is Mark Wills. I'm America's largest notary coach, and I'm here with one of my amazing students, Tiffany, out in the great state of Colorado. How you doing, Tiffany?
I'm doing great, Mark. How are you?
I am so good. This story, like all the stories, are super inspirational. So why don't we inspire right out of the gate? As a part-time signing agent, someone who works less than 30 hours a week, how much money did you make last month?
I made $6,000 last month.
$6,000 working only 30 hours. You know, that's a $72,000 a year part-time business. When I say that back to you, how do you feel?
When you put it in that words, it's kind of baffling.
Let's take people on your journey. Okay. So, you're a part-time signing agent. I don't want to spill the beans, but you're a military spouse as well. And I was telling you off camera that I don't think military spouses get enough credit for what they do at home while their partners are off and away. But first and foremost, thank you for your service. And then obviously thank your husband as well for his service as well. So thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
we're going to talk about your journey. Just take us back, right? What made you want to become a signing agent? Take it back. You've been doing loan signing system now. I'm looking at my notes for about 4 years. So
Correct.
take us back 4 years ago. What made you kind of morph in this direction of being a signing agent?
I knew wanted to go back to work because I had lost my identity as a parent. Being full-time stay at home, you lose who you are. And I wanted to work again. I saw other people doing this.
So you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't
Yes.
want that glided over. And so then you had a moment of, I want to get back to the workforce because you lost your identity. Like, what do you mean by that? Because one could say being a mom's a great identity, right? Some could say being a spouse is a great identity. What do you mean? And how did that make you feel that you were losing yourself?
Well, I had a full career before him. I'm an older mom. I had my kid late in my 30s. And being a stay-at-home mom was not for me. Like it was just not my path. And
Mm,
I wanted to do something that would benefit my family in the long run. If I'm going to leave my family to go work, then I need to know that I am going to bring home income that's going to provide us the opportunity to have make memories, like go on trips and do things as a family and give my kid a better life than I had growing up. And corporate just wasn't for me anymore. I wanted to work for myself. I knew I had a very specific skill, but I didn't know what it was. And I had asked my higher power, I have a skill, lead me to that need. And in
mm.
that time, I got introduced to this crazy guy. And at first, I wasn't really into it. And the more I researched it, I was like, if I could work while my kid is at school and doing things, I could be working and making money and still be home when he gets home from school, still see him off at school, be present for all the Taekwondo tournaments and all the practices that we go to.
You said, being a stay-at-home mom isn't for me. And so what did it feel like losing yourself into just being a mom, being a wife? They talk about that loss because I don't think people talk about that loss. It's almost like a death, right? It's almost a mourning period of like, oh my gosh, I need to like, no, 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 no. I got to pick this up and refine my purpose. And it's not to say that being a mom is not a purpose. It's not saying that being a spouse isn't a purpose, but because I think there's
Yeah.
stay-at-home moms watching this who could probably identify with that struggle that you were having. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, as my son was heading into kindergarten, I started noticing that, he didn't need me as much 24/7. So between the hours of 8 and 3 when he was at school, it was all about me. And nobody asking me for a snack, nobody asking me where a toy was, nobody asking me to take them on a play date. And I realized all those years I was a stay-at-home mom, I never did anything for myself.
Mm.
And when I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't even know who was staring back at me. like, to be very, very honest, like, I lost my identity. And
Mm,
like you said, yes, being a mom is part of your identity. Being a spouse is part of your identity, but what is solely yours? Like, who are
mhm,
you? Like,
mhm,
what makes you happy? What do you like? What do you want to do? And
mhm.
I wanted to go back to work. I had always envisioned that I was going to be a successful person. I was in my late 30s when I had my son. I had a full-blown successful marketing career, and then I became a stay-at-home mom. And
Yeah.
that was just not, it wasn't, I thought it was what I wanted to do because that's what
Mhm.
my mother did, was a stay-at-home parent, but, and I thought I would be just as happy as she did because she had so much joy in doing
Yeah.
it, but it wasn't for me. It just
Yeah.
wasn't.
Thank you for saying that because I think a lot of times, there are women who feel the pressure of, well, I should feel a certain way. I should feel lucky that I'm able to stay home versus having someone be like, you know what, I lost who I was. And what I heard was someone who wanted to contribute. And contribution, I think, is a very fair thing to say to be of someone's identity. Is I want to contribute in numerous ways. Obviously, I'm contributing as a mom. Obviously, I'm contributing as a spouse, but I feel like I should contribute more. You said something else that I want to unpack. I said, I wanted to give him the life that I never had. Walk through that because I think that's another relatable part of your story.
So with just one income, we should feel fortunate that we are a stay-at-home parent, but we were making our bills. We did have a roof over our head. We had food on the table, gas in the car, but we did not have the extra funds to take vacations, to do things as a family, to go to a show and build those memories, because having memories to me is more important than stuff,
Hmm.
because it comes and goes, but memories last a lifetime. And every time we wanted to take an annual trip, we would have to cut corners, like, oh, we couldn't do this or we couldn't do that, just so we could save the money so we could have that vacation. And I wanted to do more. Like, I wanted to travel. I wanted to take my son to all these places I never got, because I was
Hmm.
very, we didn't do anything.
Right.
My parents were blue collar workers. It honestly made me feel really sad as a parent
Mhm.
because I wanted to educate my kid worldly that way. And knowing that I
Mhm.
couldn't do it without having to go back to a job,
Mhm.
um made it hurt because I
Mhm.
didn't want somebody else to raise my kid. I wanted to raise my own kid. And I didn't want to go to corporate where I was working, 7 in the morning to 5 at night and missing all the things in the daytime, those first steps, the first, he was in kindergarten then.
Yeah.
But it's like as they get to that point, you start experiencing all those first lasts.
Yeah. Oh, first, last. I never heard of that, to be honest with you. And thank you for really getting vulnerable because I think there is people, moms out there who need to realize that you're not alone if you feel like you want to contribute more. You're not alone if you feel like, you're not giving your family the most, but you made an amazing change in your life, and that was becoming a signing agent. And so, you know, let's talk about that. I think sometimes moms almost are looked at as like you're supposed to take a step back for everyone else in your family, but you stepped up for you. And I think a lot of women need to hear that that's okay, is that I need to do something for myself. And getting back in the workforce and rebuilding who you knew you were, I think is a beautiful thing. So thank you again for sharing that. You know, before we get into your income journey, is there anything you could say if there's another mom out there experiencing, this loss of identity, and you were able to get that back, what would you say to them if they feel helpless or hopeless?
In those hours that your children are at school, if your kids go to school full time, you have that time between 8 and 3 when they're at school, and that is your time. That is your time to do for yourself. Your laundry will wait, the grocery shopping will wait. One day you're going to wake up and realize, like, all the messiness in the house that we feel like we have to do these things, we're going to miss it one day. And that's okay. But this is your time to work on
Mm,
yourself and rediscover who you are, because our kids are going to grow and they're going to move on. They're going to make friends. They're going to want to go do all the things and not hang out with you. My son is a preteen now. He
mm,
doesn't want to hang out with me. So I'm hanging on to every last string he will let me hold on to. But when he's gone, it's like, then what? Who am I after that? So in those
mm,
hours, I'm working on who I am, what I want to do, what I want to build. So when he's gone, I am not in my 50s wondering who I am again.
Yeah, no, that well said. Just so everybody understands your journey as a signing agent, you literally only work 8 to 3.
Correct.
Like literally 8 to 3.
Right now.
Right now. You're trying to spend as much time as you can with your boy. Cause you said to my first lasts, like there's
Yeah,
not
your first last.
like,
Like the last time they'll let you put the lotion on their
yes,
arms.
yes,
You know,
yes.
it's like, nope, I got it myself. It's like,
So
oh,
you're
my
taking
first last.
advantage. Yeah, you're taking advantage of that. So I just want to communicate to the moms out there, especially the ones who are thinking about segueing back into the workforce, and especially being a signing agent. God, that's what this is about. You can tell a mom out there, you're as of today, you are literally working 8 to 3.
Literally working
And if
8.
someone says, I have a 6 o'clock, you're like, no, thank you. Give it to the next notary.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have an appointment. And you know who that appointment is? My son's my appointment.
That's beautiful. And everybody hear that. Mom's watching this right now. She only works 8 to 3. She's only working when her son is at school so she can pick him up, take him to Taekwondo, et cetera, et cetera. But I want people to hear that you can build this part time. You don't have to only work nights and weekends. You can build this during the middle of the day. You can build this at part time, and you're making $6,000 a month while working 8 to 3. It's incredible. And so I mentioned it earlier, and I want to go back to it. I want to talk about your income journey. How much money did you make the very first month of being a signing agent?
$100.
100. How much you make month number two? How about month number two?
Month number 2, I made about another $100.
And then month number three?
Back up. It went to 200.
You're 3 months into this new identity, right? You're like, I'm building this new identity. And girl, you're not building the burning the house down, right?
No. And then the
What?
next month it went back down to 100.
Yeah. And so, okay, so I want everyone to hear that. You made 100, 100, 200, 100. You went down in your fourth month.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, why didn't you see that as a failure? Just to put this in perspective, we have fellow students, in LSS Nation that will email me and say, Mark, I made $500 this month. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with the business? You didn't even make $500 in your first 3 months.
No, I didn't.
But how did you push through the first few months, 4 months, 5 months of just a business that's only making $100 to $200? Talk people through that.
So I kind of looked at it as like these are the building stages of something, and you're not going to become like I knew I was not going to be a success overnight. I knew it was going to take a lot of work, and I knew it was going to take grit. And so I just kind of I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all in because it's plan A. There's no plan B on this. And I told my family, I said between the hours of 8 and 3, like I'm working, like I am learning, I'm meeting people, I am walking into title offices, I'm having one-to-one coffees. I mean, I probably spent everything I made in one-to-one in coffees.
You gotta love
Just
it.
because I was trying to meet the realtors, to
Right.
meet the lenders, do all that stuff. And I knew that like if I kept pushing at it, like something was there. I knew there was something good there. Like I just knew like keep pushing, keep pushing, keep
Let me just unpack this real quick, because I think you say so much magic and you don't realize it. You use the phrase, I knew that as in my building phase.
Mhm.
What I hear is, I hear a business owner who understands that there has to be months of building. There has to be months of me laying the foundation. There isn't this expectation I'm going to get rich tomorrow. I
Correct.
think too many signing agents have this weird expectation when the ones who just build the building phase end up having this $6,000 a month part-time business.
Correct.
I love your realistic understanding of how to build a business. And I wanted to slow down and say that because I don't think enough people do. Well, that is the mindset of why, if you just stick with it, there will be business. Because as soon as most owners come in, they go out. So if you can stick with it, stick with the system, stick with your philosophies, there is a business on the other end, a real sustainable business.
Correct.
I want you to talk about something else. You said there's no plan B.
There's
Dive
no,
into that deeper. I mean, there was no option of this not working, right? That's what I heard.
yeah,
Why?
there was,
Why? Walk people through that mindset.
well, I knew I wanted to, okay, so let's just look at this. Like I knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Well, not stay-at-home mom.
A present mom.
Be present for my kid. Like I want to be a present mom. And I knew corporate wasn't going to be an option. Like going back to corporate was just there is no option to do that. Like I just could not work for somebody else. I knew that I have a skill, who I am as a person, my authenticity as a person. And there was that need. And I'm like, I know people need me. I just know that it's there. And and that's what I always said to my higher power was, I have a skill, lead me to that need. And the need is that they did need me. They needed signing
Yeah.
people. And so I was like, okay, I just have, like, there's no plan B. Like, there was no plan B.
What I
It's like,
heard too,
this has to
what I
work.
heard, and I hope people can glean off what I heard, and is a real self belief in what you can do. Like you knew you just needed to find the vehicle.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I could find the vehicle, I would shine. And what
Yeah.
I think is inspirational is this understanding of what you are capable of. And I hope everyone hears that, right? Like, I think it started with you understanding, I know I'm capable of greatness. I just need to find the vehicle to lead me to the greatness. But but I want people to hear this belief you had in yourself. So it didn't matter if it was going to take 3 months or 3 years. This was the vehicle. I saw it early. Like I
Mhm.
enjoy doing this. I enjoy the coffees. And so whether this was going to take me 3 months or 12 months, why don't you, I know the answer, but why don't you share with everybody how many months it took until you broke $1,000 in 1 month?
It took me a year.
A year. So you went through 12 months of 100, 200, 300, $400 in a month to get to the $1,000. And then when you hit the $1,000, it took off like a rocket.
It did
But
after that.
but you stuck with it for 12 months. That's what I want everybody to hear.
And it was just finding that niche, not only building my business, but figuring out exactly who am I for? Because I'm not for everybody. And I don't want to be for everybody. And my niche was my military community and leaning in heavily to that.
Just dropping so much fire. You know, what I'm hearing is a somebody, a business person who really understands their lane and understanding that it's okay if not everybody likes me. See, I think the biggest problem, frankly, if I can say this to LSS Nation watching, is I think everyone expects 10 out of 10 realtors to love them. Everybody expects 10 out of 10 escrow officers to love them. If you get 3 out of 10, you're winning. But it's not having this unreal. So what I love about your journey, and I'm unpacking it in real time with you, Tiffany, is as someone who really understood the realistic expectations. It may take me 12 months to build this business. Not everyone's gonna like me. So I'm okay with the no's. I'm okay with the you're not for me. And so if it was to me, it's you really just set really good expectations for the business, dropped into that self-belief. You trusted the system, you trusted the process, but most importantly, you trusted you.
Yes.
Wow. And I think not enough people do that. I think a lot of people get out of the business because they actually, it's not the system they don't trust, it's themselves they don't trust.
Correct. A lot of it was like, how do I stay authentic to myself? How do I stay unique? What sets me apart from everybody else? And it was just leaning into myself and leaning into who I am, because that's what I'm selling is myself. We can all notarize documents. We can all do no mistakes, all the blah, blah, blah. But it's you and your personality that will set you apart from everybody else. And how do you let that part shine?
Are you okay with your personality not being for everybody?
Absolutely. Because I don't like everybody either.
I knew you were going to say that. But I think, like, look, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? As a notary trainer, like, this guy's loud, he claps too much. He's like, but I'm going to stay authentically me. And if you can lean in, the sooner you lean into that, the sooner it's easier to get rid of the no or get through the nose, get through, I have a notary. It's like, cool. Like we weren't supposed to jam. We weren't supposed to vibe, and really leaning into that, I think was really helped you stay steady Eddie through the first 12 months and be like, I just had to find my people. I will find them. Might not be in 12 months, but I will find them. And once you did, you're now built, you're only working 8 to 3. Everybody, are you hearing what I am saying? Like, this is insane. You built a business truly around your family.
Correct.
You said something off camera that I think is an inspirational part of this No Plan B that, if you're okay with me bringing back up, you said that you want to retire your husband.
Being in the military for almost 35 years, after my son was born, my husband was gone the first 3 years. He missed the first words. He missed the first walk. He missed all the first things. And now that our son is getting older and sprouting his own personality, I don't want him missing any more of these firsts, because when I look at it in the big picture, my son is almost 12. I have 6 left. I have 6 summers, 6 winters, maybe 6 more trick or treatings. You know, when you look at it that way, and I'm like, I don't want him to look back and say, I missed all that because I was working.
Yeah.
I want him to experience those things that those first years I got to experience.
Yeah. Ask you to share that because, like, this business is beautiful because it's so much more than the money. It's the time, it's the freedom, it's the ability to try to retire your husband after 35 years, right? He has a pension coming, but I got to make X money, X amount over the pension to make sure he feels comfortable. Like, I get the math behind the math. And the fact that, like, you're doing this for your son, you're doing this for your husband, you're doing this for your family, you're doing it for the memories. What I hear is just mom. I hear a mom who just, and I almost want to cry because it's so beautiful the way that you are just everything. It's funny. One part of your story is I need to find my identity, but part of your identity is being selfless through being a contributor. And I hope all the moms out there are getting inspired, especially the stay-at-home moms thinking about transitioning to work. I mean, take a really good look at this business because it really is the best business I don't think most people have heard of. What is your favorite part about this business?
My favorite part is I hang out with my friends all day long. All my realtors, my escrow officers, my lenders have become my personal friends. And I feel like I hang out with my friends and talk to them all day long every day. Like
Yeah,
I don't even feel like it's work. Like I feel like I hang out with friends.
well, I'm smiling because I know the next question I want to ask you, and that is, what's the number one tip you can give a signing agent? The crazy part is I think you just gave it. And I don't think, and I'd love to dive into it deeper because I think you're like my 85th episode, and I don't think anyone's really talked about building one of their superpowers being building authentic relationships, turning your business relationships into friendships. Talk about that and what it's meant for your business.
Well, that is for my business is like building that relationship with people that they know and trust. Like that's huge for me. But sometimes you get the people at the table that aren't going to be your people and they're not going to be your friends, but it's learning how to be the chameleon at the table, learning how to talk their lingo. My example I always say is like military. I learned the lingo, and anybody that's military that's watching this or spouses that are watching this, whenever I hand my signer a blue pen, I said, okay, I know this is going to go get your bones, but we're going to sign in blue pen and I promise I won't counsel you for it. And usually everybody chuckles, and anyone that's not military at the table kind of look at each other and don't understand, but it's learning to talk that lingo and learning to be that chameleon for them. And that's what also helps a little bit with that friendship level, because they're like, oh, this person can communicate to my people. They understand my people. I like this person. I may not like them, but they like me.
Yeah, well, first off, I think you nailed it as far as how you execute a signing. It's really about creating that relationship at the table. But I want to dig a little bit deeper on the relationship with your clients, because there's some people who are watching this right now saying, I don't believe you that you work 8 to 3. I don't believe you that you have clients who will work around your schedule. But that happens when you create real relationships. So when Susie calls you, whoever, they're like, hey, Tiff, can you do a 3? You're like, man, is there any way we can push that to 12? They actually give you that flexibility because you have a real relationship. So
Yeah.
do you think that the relationships is one of the real keys to success of your part-time business?
Absolutely, because like my realtors that I have found through all those one-to-ones, they're parents too. We're all parents together and we all want to work when our kids are in school. And there are agents out there that aren't parents and want to work different hours. And that's okay. There's a notary that wants to work those hours with them. And that's okay. But I found my community lenders and realtors that are parents just like me that want to work those hours.
This is so good. Was this very intentional? Like,
Yes.
you're like, I'm going to build a business around clients who have families, because if I do, then they tend to be more empathetic. They tend to be more understanding. And so you use that logic, and then that logic has come to fruition. Like, I can move appointments because they get that I want to be at Taekwondo practice. I hope everyone's hearing this. And what I think about, oh, you can't build a business part-time, a direct business directly with escrow and title officers. And the answer is yes, you can, if you build it with intentionality. Like you said, There's going to be single realtors out there. Those aren't my jam. They're going to be the 9 p.m. signings. Can you run at midnight and close this deal end of the month? I pass on those realtors. I hope everyone's hearing this. You know, your business really boomed the past 2 years, right? $6,000 a month, pretty consistently for 2 years straight.
Mhm.
It almost took you 2 years to find your tribe,
Correct.
but was it worth it, those 2 years?
Absolutely.
That's my point. And I don't think people have enough patience to build this business the way it can be built. And that's around their life. And so if you are intentional, I'm only going to find EOs that are parents. I'm only going to find realtors that are parents. I'm only going to find lenders because those are the ones who will empathize with my schedule. They're not going to get mad at me. And then not only am I going to find them, I'm going to befriend them. We're going to do coffee. We're going to go do evenings together. Do some of these client friends of yours you do dinner with, you go to birthday parties with.
We do a lot of family events. Our families come together, their kids and my kids, because a lot of their kids were all about the same age. They're all about the same age. So we do top golf together, which is a lot of fun. And we just do activities together. And it just builds it. Having a single kid, you're always trying to help them find more friends. So it's like if they can be friends with the people I like, that makes me happy.
I'm going to go to a little bit of a right turn here, but I think this is a great conversation. You know, did you find it difficult to bridge from a personal to business to a personal relationship? Uh, talk through people. I think there's a part of our community who's like, all right, Mark, I'm listening to this interview with Tiffany. She's amazing. But how did she bridge that? I feel insecure. Like I've been working with this realtor for 8 months. How did she go from like, oh, let's do signings together? Hey, you want to go to the park? Walk people through that.
When I did my one-to-ones, which are people I met through the networking events that I would go to, all the free stuff, I would actually intentionally, I was digging like, are you a parent? Do you have children? Like I'm digging for that information because I'm trying to figure out, do I want to work with them?
Okay.
And I want to know, you kind of do, somebody had mentioned one time the frog method.
Yep.
What are their hobbies? Because then I'm like, okay, how can we interact like my family's hobbies and your family hobbies together?
What I heard is someone, when they go meet a new realtor, you're trying to figure out the commonalities. And everybody loves commonalities, but it's an intentional digging. Like, what do you like to do? Do you like to go on hikes? Do you like to go skiing? I'm making this up, obviously, but it's an intentional digging of what do you do? Because the moment you have something in common, you're like, oh my gosh, why don't we all go to the show this Friday? Am I close?
Yes. And it'll be like, oh, there's a new movie coming out. Oh, I was thinking about taking my son to that. You saw it? Is it good? Hey, let's see. My son's the same age. Oh, we talk about hardships with kids. Preteen parents will know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll be like, oh, well, let's go. Hey, I have a signing. I'm not even joking. I did a signing at a bowling alley.
Yeah.
And it was because their kids are like, oh, they can go play video games. And I was like, oh, well, do you want me to bring mine too? And then they can go play video games while we do the signing. And we did. Like, we've had some pretty interesting signings.
Yeah, what I think is great though, and I hope everybody hears that, it's this, you're not afraid to ask people out on dates, play dates, whatever. I think that's important. Of the people you've asked out, quote unquote, on these play dates, I don't know what else you want to call them, right? But any type of outing.
My teenager will say they're hangouts now.
They're what?
They're hangouts.
Hangouts.
Played out is too kiddie.
And so, but I love this bridge. How often have you been denied on one of these?
Once I earn their trust and really get to know them, because I'm very business oriented, is maybe I'd say like 10 times. Like honestly,
but what percentage? Because I'm trying to make people realize it's not that often.
Oh yeah, it's really not that often. I'd say maybe 1% of the time.
Yeah, and so and I think people are thinking, oh my God, they just met me. There's no way they would go to the park with me. I think you'd be surprised at the amount of people who say, well, let's go to the park or whatever it is once you have a commonality. But I love how you're searching for that commonality and you're very intentional. Look, thus far in this conversation, I've met a businesswoman who's patient, intentional, has realistic expectations, and works her freaking tail off. Like, I don't know a better recipe for somebody to follow or someone to be inspired by than you, Tiffany. And especially for the moms out there who feel like they're losing their identity just being a mom and a wife. Like, there's room for you and there's room for who your likes and what you want. And so Unbelievable conversation. Let's segue to the last part of this conversation, which I ask every successful signing agent, which you are, by the way. Success isn't just how much money one makes. I argue the most successful businesses are the ones who are lifestyle businesses. And that's what I call yours, is a lifestyle business. But with that being said, I would say my question to you at the end is, it took you 2 years, quote unquote, to scale. Okay. To scale to $6,000 a month. If you can go back, knowing what you know 4 years later, if you can go back to the early years, what would you tell the younger you to shrink that 24 months into like 6 months, right? To get to that 6,000 number that you're currently at? What would you do differently? What would you speed up?
I would have walked into title companies a little bit sooner.
What was holding you back early?
I did not like to, I went to school for marketing, but I hated it.
Okay.
If that sounds really out of the wall.
Yeah,
But
no. I appreciate the vulnerability because I think everybody thinks signing agents who get a lot of business are extroverts and love to go talk. And I tell them that's not true. But let's just pause. So you don't love the face-to-face marketing, but in hindsight, you would have told yourself to do it sooner. Why?
well, that's what really helped me grow faster was that direct marketing. And if I would have known what I know now is that if you go and do it, it will grow faster. It may make
Mm.
you want to throw up. You may want to curl up in the fetal position in your car. Like I'm not joking, I
Yeah.
did. And you're gonna fail at the first time. Like just know you're gonna fail, but you need to fall down in order to pick yourself back up and keep going. And once you get that first one done, you get better and better and better and more
Mm.
confident with it. Confident comes
Mm.
with practice. And I still get nervous, but not as bad as I used to. Like I dreaded it so bad. That's why I didn't do it. And that's why my business didn't grow, is because I didn't walk
Wow.
in there.
I
It
hope
didn't grow.
everybody heard that. And so your biggest regret essentially as a successful signing agent is you didn't go direct sooner.
Correct.
You realize that they're just humans like we are. You just realize that they actually don't say no, if at all. And you just realize that like I can't get good at something until I do that something.
For me, it's I do these goodie bags. I still do them to this day. They cost like $1.50 to do, but it's like I had a reason to walk in. Like, oh, hey, I'm in the area here. How many? I want to introduce myself. How many people do you have in the office? Oh, we have 4. Okay, but does that include yourself? Receptionists get super excited when you include them, just FYI. So please do. And then your name is going to land on all of their desks. And
Mhm.
then you just have to follow up after, like the fortune, like Mark always says, fortune is in the follow up, and it really is. And I was
Mhm.
terrible at it in the beginning. That was
Mhm.
like the other thing. I was old school paper and pen because the CRM did
Yeah.
this back then.
What I heard is that you just wish you would have taken your lumps sooner.
Yeah.
That is it. And I hope everybody hears that because, like, honestly, the ability to grow in this industry really comes down to you taking a risk on yourself, even if it makes you sick in stomach and makes you just want to throw up and in the fetal position, like you said. I stopped you because I felt like that was such a good moment that I didn't want to glance over. What is the other anything else you would tell your younger self?
Don't don't be afraid to say yes. I
Mm,
said no to so many signings on the platforms that would come through. because that's where I started because I was too afraid to do it. I was too afraid because I wasn't going to be perfect. I was too afraid that I didn't know enough. And I stood in my own way of learning from each one of those and making my numbers go up. Like, I always say you have to be in the trenches before you can be
yeah.
on the other side. And it was just dive in, like just do it scared. I remember my very first signing took 2 hours because I was so
Yeah.
scared to make a mistake. And now it's not that way anymore, but I just said no because I was so afraid. Oh, I didn't review this. I didn't do that. I didn't do this. It doesn't matter. Just do it.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, look, I'm going to wrap up with this. You just are an incredible inspiration. I hope all the stay-at-home moms transitioning. I love you for vulnerable about this identity. I didn't know that was a thing, but now you say it, I totally get it. And the fact that like you're like, I need to make a stand for myself. By taking a stand for yourself, you actually became more selfless for your family.
I
And
did.
so there was really cool, like, I'm going to look out for me, but there is a positive consequence that the entire tide lifts. And so I think sometimes there might be this guilt of like, if I go do something for myself, it's taking away from the family unit. You did something for yourself and it actually rose the family unit. And so thank you for saying that, because as a male, I can't identify, but I totally can empathize. I see it, I get it. And I think other moms need to hear you say that. And so I just appreciate your vulnerability. If there's any woman out there, stay-at-home mom, who's doubting herself right now, what are your final words to them saying, build this business?
If you're feeling lost and like you want to go back to work and you want to do something and you want to find something that is going to be beneficial for your family and give back to your family, um, take that time between 8 and 3. That is your time. That is the time to work on yourself and do something for you. The laundry will wait. The dishes will wait. All of that stuff will be there later, but this is your time to do your thing.
I'll end with that. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. Now knowing your story, it becomes even more inspirational to what you've built. So until next night, T, we all appreciate your time today. Let's go. Bye.